All right, so we got through Peoria. When we got to MacArthur Bridge, which was like the Ronald Reagan Parkway, there was this mile-long bridge. I didn't see it. He said that there was a sign that said, what bridge is a mile long?
Yeah, it was like a mile.
And I had Scott walk first, and let me tell you, man, after just beat feeding it, Scott's shoe fell apart. The sole of it came out. We kept walking over this bridge, and wasn't it dizzy? I mean, did it make you nauseous at times? And cars flying by, and you're like, keep going, and there's spider webs and spiders all over, and so we finally get over this bridge, and there was like a little Ford dealership, a couple hundred yards up, that was obviously closed, but we walked around, like stayed in the shadows of the bushes, and he and I just sprayed, and we didn't even, just laid down on our backpacks and laid there for a little while, and then we went up the road to a little McDonald's area, had a little plaza, we slept in wood chips that night, and that was the night I had the craziest dreams, man. I dreamt that some white man was in a ditch, and I was trying to get him out, and I was like, Scott, help me get him out, and Scott's come over to help, the guy started biting on me, and then went and had a dream that my uncle, was there at this restaurant, and I gave him a hug, and then everybody's staring at me like I'm dead, or not staring at me. I'm trying to talk, and everybody's ignoring me, and a guy turned into a Clydesdale horse, and I started eating my iPad, which had Energizer batteries. I mean, it was crazy, crazy dreams, and I think just from the stress of us walking, So we taped Scott's shoe up. We started walking about 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm telling you, it was about, would you say 11:30, 12 o'clock when we met Pastor Becky? Maybe a little before 11, but around 11ish. I'm ready to give up. I'm done. Now, the whole time we've walked, let me tell you, this kid right here never once complained, never once said he was going to quit. I wanted to throw my backpack so many times. And God's my witness. You're going to see him. I tried to give my backpack away to somebody. Some homeless man, did I not?
Yeah.
I was tired of carrying it. I asked this guy in Vegas if he was, I said, are you homeless? He's like, yeah. I said, I have clothes in here, I have everything you wanted. I'm tired of carrying it. No, man, you keep your things, But I was done, man. We just taped Scott's shoe. His shoes keeps falling apart. I'm like, you know what? I'm like, look, we're just going to get a Greyhound bus. I said, I think I even called my wife and told her, like, just get him home. Get him home. I don't care. I can't do this anymore with him. I can't. And not that he was complaining. I just felt so bad because he was just like, it was so frustrating. Well, then we met Pastor Becky. And Pastor Becky, was one to get him a pair of shoes. So, first we went to a Goodwill because to let him get a good, I figured, hey, what we're doing, I don't need a brand new pair of shoes and used. Didn't have a size, so then she took us to Walmart. I went through the clearance aisle, got him a pair of shoes. When we left, she gave us $60. We dropped us off like at the county line, right? And then we found this restaurant that was the Cornerstone Family Restaurant. Very nice religious restaurant. I mean, religious based. Watch the video. Awesome restaurant. We ate there. While we were eating there, everywhere I went, see people saw the backpacks. They'd ask us, and I'd tell them, what we're doing, blah blah. This one guy came up, prayed with us, asked if he could say a prayer for our journey, etc. Left there. We were walked a little ways, and this guy, gentleman Tom, he was must have been going west because we were going east. Yeah. And he said that he was going to go home, read the Bible, and he thought, if he gets home, reads the Bible, and he said, we're going to pop in his mind, and Jesus is going to ask him, why didn't he come and take us for a ride, give us to the next town? So that's what he did. He ended up taking us to the next town. I don't remember, we were in Washington. We were in Washington, and he took us through this other town, maybe Secor, and drove us. Then from there, we just started getting rides. It was amazing. I was ready to give up and quit. I mean, was I not? Was I done? And then we just kept getting rides after rides after rides. We ended up in a little town called Roseville, Illinois, where, we ate, went behind the scenes of a bowling alley, hitchhiked out of there, got picked up. We ended up getting picked up by this lady, who was named Shelley, who brought us full force back to Route 66, where we started on old Route 66. From there, we were hitchhiking, got in a few more trucks and everything, and then we met this one gentleman. I mean, Scott's passed out in the middle of the seat. This young kid has picked us up, and all of a sudden he says, every time I got in a car, whenever we got out, I'd say, yeah, on June 15th at 5:01 in the morning, my son has stepped off and started hitchhiking out of Akron, Ohio. So it's easier. We'd get to Rittman eventually, but, if I said Rittman, they'd be like, where's Rittman? So, I'm sitting there, and I told this guy, and he goes, have you ever heard of a little small town called Rittman? I almost fell out of the truck. It was so crazy, man. So we met, little connection. It was the second time. One of the truck stops we were in, or actually it's going to be coming up, the truck stop we come up. But second, that was our first encounter with Rittman. So, we hitched some more. We ended up getting to this Dairy Queen, and it started raining a bit. So we went in, had a blizzard, uploaded some videos, and then we ate dinner there and started hitchhiking out. And then this gentleman who was on his way back from Chicago at Kearney, he had picked us up. I think his name was Ed too, right? And gave us a ride to like the next town. We walked a bit, and I had told Scott, when people are coming by you, wave to them because they may be coming back again. And we had walked, it was dark, and we were standing at like a trailer park area and cornfields and stuff in the middle of nowhere. And I told Scott, I was like, look, let's stand here for a while. It's Friday night. Maybe one of these people are going to need to go get beer or something, and we'll try to hitch a ride to the next city. And we were so close to Indiana, too. We were so close to the Indiana border. Well, as we were there, this girl pulled up, her and her fiancé, and she said, hey, man, I told my fiancé when we went by, if you guys were still here hitching, we're going to give you a ride. She's like, I can take you a couple miles up the road. So we were talking, and I was telling her the story. She's like, gosh, I would love to do something like this when my kids are older, blah, blah, blah. She had 5 kids. And I'm telling her, man, just do it. You ever get the chance, just do it. It's such a great bonding experience. We've met so many people, etc. And before I knew it, she's like, all right, well, I got to drop you off here. So she took us to the gas station, and I told her, I was like, how much closer are we to get to Indiana? And she's like, honey, you are in Indiana. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, she said, I lived back about 20 miles back. She goes, but I just love listening to you talk, and you were just intriguing me. And she took us all the way to Indiana. So, I was so grateful and so thankful to meet her. We uploaded videos. This guy, George, saw us walking around. His name was Jorge, but went by George. He was driving a little bicycle around, and I told him our story, and he was like, hey, he insisted on me writing his number. He was like, stay the night here, you don't have to crash outside. I have a place you could stay, etc. But we ended up going to McDonald's, talking on the phone to relatives and stuff, telling them how close we are, and crashed outside that night, right? We crashed outside, and what we did is we took boxes out, sprayed, put boxes down, we sprayed our bodies off. This one in the morning was like, man, something bit me on my foot 3 times. He had 3 little freckles on his foot. This must have been Saturday morning, huh? Yeah. And then we went to the gas station across the street, got something to drink, loaded up our water bottles, changed socks, I remember that, and then started walking up the road. And then we got picked up by a cop right away. Not picked up, but we got stopped by a cop. And I was like, whew, man, maybe he'll get me to the next border. No. Rainy ideas, have fun, boys, blah, blah, blah. So we walked and walked and walked, and I think we were going to a little town called Kingland or Kilman or something. And it started to downpour, started to rain. So Scott and I were like trying to beat feet as fast as we could. I mean, he's sore, I'm sore, and we're going. And there was an old abandoned house in the middle of nowhere. First we went to the barn, and it just stank really bad. And the back door, there was no back door. I mean, the windows were busted out, etc. So Scott and I went up to the house. I was like, hello, videotaping. It was a really, really scary house, and I know people had been living there at times. I mean, you could see fresh food outside, etc. But we didn't encounter anybody inside. But I had called my wife and was like, look, we're so many miles up the road here on this house. If you don't hear from me in 6 hours, just start calling the police, etc. So we explored this house, and it was really nice. It stopped raining. We went out and got a ride. We had got a ride, actually, to the truck stop, I believe. Am I correct?
Yeah.
The truck stop where we actually slept outside that first night. It started downpouring, and we're again on the 65-60 north, trying to go east now to get home. So we ended up staying in this truck stop from 12 o'clock or 12 in the afternoon until about, I would say, did you think around 6 o'clock the next morning is when we started hiking out?
Yeah.
And then we started hiking out the next morning. In this truck stop, we rested, we watched movies, ate a good meal, talked to so many people. And, just heard different stories and everything. And then we started our, the next day, which did it end up being our final day? Day 16 we started. I'll talk about that.